Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Monday, May 18th, 2026. Today we'll recap the NBA Stanley Cup playoffs, look ahead to the playoff games in each sport. MLB, WNBA, soccer, the PGA Championship, NASCAR on this day. News and notes and best bet. We'll start the NBA playoffs. We'll go over the results and look ahead to tonight's big game one and make picks for the conference finals. Friday, May 15th, Pistons over the Cavs 115-94 to force a game 7. Spurs over the Timberwolves 139-109 to take that series. And then last night, Cavaliers over the Pistons 125-94 to win game 7 on the road. All right, tonight, 8:30, NBC and Peacock, the Spurs and the Thunder. Game 1, we'll do the series preview first. Best player in the series, Victor Wembanyama. Yeah, I said it. Victor Wembanyama is the best player in the series. He's better than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. What can't Wemby do? What can't the man do? He's the best player in the NBA. That's not to say he should have been the MVP. I think Victor Wembanyama is the best player in the NBA. But I think that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander deserved the MVP because he had the best season. That doesn't mean that he's the best player. But best player in the series is Victor Wembanyama. Coaching advantage. I have to pick Mark Daigneault over Mitch Johnson. Mark Daigneault is an NBA champion. Mitch Johnson is not. But what I do think is that Mitch Johnson saved the whatever speculation there could have been about Greg Popovich coming back to coach with them making the conference finals. And so I don't think he's the next Stan Van Gundy where he gets replaced by the big boss like Van Gundy did with Pat Riley back in the Miami Heat 20 years ago. That was over 20 years ago. So storyline of the series. To me, the storyline of the series is that we have this great rivalry here in the conference finals. We saw these two teams meet in the semifinals of the in-season tournament. And in San Antonio had their number for most of this year. They beat him in OKC on Christmas. They beat him in Vegas. So San Antonio having OKC's number. And to me, the story is, will that continue here in the postseason in this series? So, and obviously these two teams were a rivalry back in the day when Tim Duncan and Kevin Durant were still on their respective teams, on those respective teams. And I remember the Thunder beat the Spurs in 2016, and it was Tim Duncan's last hurrah. And then the Spurs beat OKC in 2014. 2012, I think they beat the Spurs too. And it was Kawhi Leonard's rookie year. So these two teams had history last decade. Now they have new history starting in this decade. But my pick for the series, you guys know how much I love Victor Wembanyama and how I feel about him in this series and how I think he's going to be the best guy in the series. But sometimes best player in the series doesn't always necessarily win. That's how I feel about this series. Jalen Williams coming back for Oklahoma City Thunder is a big deal. If he was still out, I would have considered picking San Antonio. Him coming back, I think it's a big difference, although I do think there's a chance San Antonio's up 2-1 in this series or something, and people get a little nuts about OKC. But my pick for the series is the Thunder in 6. And I'm trying to find the number for that. I don't know why the series betting. Here we go. The Spurs are plus 215. The Thunder are minus 260. So the Spurs are a bigger underdog than the Cavaliers. So that's interesting. But I don't know why it's not giving me the we have the finals exact results, but not the um yeah, which is very strange. In the series betting, we don't have it, but I'm gonna say the Thunder in 6 games. And then for this game tonight, the Thunder are laying 6.5 totals to 21.5. I'm gonna take San Antonio plus the 6.5, and I think they can win game one. So I'm gonna take them at plus the 98. I think the Spurs do win game one, but the Thunder win the series. I wonder what you can bet on that. Spurs win game one, Thunder win the series. So yeah, my bold prediction for the series: Spurs win game one, but the Thunder win the series. And then Knicks Cavs. Best player in the series, Jalen Brunson. Coaching advantage in the series, I gotta say Kenny Atkinson over Mike Brown, only because I get it. This is Kenny Atkinson's first conference finals. Mike Brown, I think, was in the conference finals. Oh, he's been to the finals. He's been to the finals when he was with Cleveland. When he was with the Cavaliers, he's been to the finals. But that was a long time ago. But Kenny Atkinson is a better coach than Mike Brown. Although Mike Brown has had a better playoffs than Kenny Atkinson, if that makes sense. And I think Mike Brown's really done a nice job since the Atlanta series for turning it around. But I give Atkinson an edge, but it's not significant. I discredited Mike Brown through these playoffs, so apologies to him. Story of the series. This is Donovan Mitchell's first conference finals. This is the Knicks' second conference finals in a row. James Harden has a history of not making it over the hump. This is James Harden's first conference finals since his days with the Rockets. So there's a lot of moving pieces here with this series. But to me, the storyline is something's got to give. Is it James Harden's first NBA Finals in 14 years? Or is it the Knicks' first NBA Finals in 27 years? Something's got to give. It's either the Knicks or James Harden. And the funny thing is that everybody thought this was going to be the conference finals before the season started. But here we are. But it was in a way that a lot of people didn't think it would take. A lot of people thought it was going to be these were the 1-2 in the East. They played each other on Christmas Day. They played against each other. The first game of the season. The Knicks beat them 2 out of 3 times. The 2 times they beat them were Christmas and that first game of the year. And then the time where they lost to Cleveland was in Cleveland when James Harden first got there, and they were just hot, playing good basketball at the time, kind of like how the Knicks have been coming into the series. So, and this is a rematch of a couple years ago. These two teams played in the playoffs in 2023 in the first round. But granted, this Knicks team is way better than that Knicks team, and this Cavs team is probably better than that Cavs team. But in that series, obviously the Knicks won in 5. Jalen Brunson was the best guy in the series. it was Donovan Mitchell's first year on the Cavs. And I know he stunk in that series. Prediction for the series. Knicks in 6. I do think Cleveland could get off to a fast start in this series. I won't be surprised if they're also up 2-1, just like I predicted with the Spurs. I won't be shocked if Cleveland's up 2-1. I won't be shocked if they win game 1. I'm not saying they're going to win game 1, but Cleveland would be... My guess is that Knicks win game 1, Cleveland wins game 2. Maybe Cleveland wins game... Or Knicks win game 3, Cleveland wins game... It might be an every other game kind of thing. I'm going to say the Cavs blow out the Knicks in one of the 2 games in Cleveland. Because the Knicks have not been blown out in the playoffs yet. They should have been blown out against Atlanta in game 3, but they came back and took the lead in that game. So the Knicks have not really had a stinker yet. Their stinker should have been game 3 against Atlanta, but they came back and took the lead in that game, although they didn't win. But again, Knicks in 6 is the pick, and I think we're headed for Knicks Oklahoma City in the NBA Finals, and I don't know why the the series betting is like a thing here. But yeah, Knicks in 6 over Cleveland. Okay, the Stanley Cup playoffs. We'll go over the results from the weekend and look ahead to a big game 7 tonight. All right, Saturday night. Sabres over to have. They 3 to force the game 7. And here we are, game 7 tonight, 7:30 ESPN. Have Sabres. Yours truly has Sabres in 7 as a bet. So she's rooting for the Sabres big time. Who are minus 118 favorites. The Habs are minus 102 over under 5.5. Overs minus 112, unders minus 108. Habs plus 1.5 is minus 145. Sabres minus 1.5 plus 105. I'm going to double down and pick the Sabres. That was a very impressive Game 6 performance by the Sabres, facing elimination, putting up 8 goals on the road in a hostile environment in Montreal. I thought Montreal was going to close them out. I was dead wrong. And now I think the Buffalo is going to have momentum. That crowd's going to be loud. Josh Allen will be in the building. And Bills Mafia will be in the building. It's going to be a fun game tonight. I did pick Sabres in 7, and that's how I think it's going to work. And I think Buffalo's going to win tonight, so I'm going to give out the Sabres as a slight home favorite tonight at minus 118. And would I be surprised if I thought I had the Sabres. I thought I'd actually bet him. I guess I didn't. I thought I bet it. The Sabres in 7. I guess I didn't. And then game 1 of the Western Finals Wednesday, and then game 1 of the Eastern Finals starts Thursday. So it's going to be a fun week in the NHL and the NBA, of course. But yeah, I guess I don't have anything on Buffalo in 7. I thought I had the Sabres in 7. Okay, baseball. We'll go over the weekend's results and look ahead to tonight. Friday, Phils over the Pirates 11-9 and 10. Tigers over the Jays 3-2, so best bet 1. Nats over the O's 3-2. Reds over the Guardians 7-6. Rays over the Marlins 7-2. Yankees over the Mets 5-2. Brewers over the Twins 3-2. Braves over the Red Sox 3-2 and 10 on a walk-off double by Mike Yastrzemski. Cubs over the White Sox 10-5. Astros over the Rangers 2-0. Cardinals over the Royals 5-4 and 11 on a walk-off single by Yoel Pozo. The Cardinals have been a pleasant surprise this year. D-backs over the Rockies 9-1. Dodgers over the Angels 6-0. Padres over the Mariners 2-0. A's over the Giants 5-2. Saturday, Jays over the Tigers 2-1 and 10. Cards over the Royals 4-2. Rockies over the D-backs 4-2. Nats over those 13-3. Phillies over the Pirates 6-0. Marlins over Rays 10-5 and 10. Guardians over Reds 7-4. White Sox over the Cubs 8-3. Brewers over the Twins 2-1. Astros over the Rangers 4-1. Red Sox over the Braves 3-2. Padres over the Mariners 7-4. Mets over the Yankees 6-3. Dodgers over Angels 15-2. And Giants over the A's 6-4. All right, and yesterday, Rays over the Marlins 6-3. O's over the Nats 7-3. Braves over the Red Sox 8-1. Phillies over the Pirates 6-0. Guardians over the Reds 10-3. Mets over the Yankees 7-6 and 10 on a walk-off fielder's choice by Carson Bench. Tyrone Taylor hit a big home run with 2 outs in the 9th. The Yankees blow the save. They have issues to address in their bullpen. That was the worst Yankee loss of the season so far. The worst series loss of the year because it came against a Mets team that was people were writing off. Jays over the Tigers 4-1. White Sox over the Cubs 8-9-10 on a walk-off home run, 2-run shot by Edgar Caro. That was a terrible loss for the Chicago Cubs, losing to their in-city rival too. Yikes! So the two big the Yankees and the Cubs with rough series losses there, kind of very similar too. Although Michael Conforto hit a big home run to tie it for the Cubs in the 9th, but it means nothing because they lost. Twins over the Brewers 5-4. Rangers over the Astros 8-0. Royals over the Cardinals 2-0. D-backs over the Rockies 8-6. Giants over the A's 10-1. Dodgers over the Angels 10-1. And the Padres over the Mariners 8-3 on Sunday Night Baseball. All right, now we look ahead to tonight. 6:30, Braves Marlins. J.R. Ritchie and Max Meyer. Marlins -116, Braves -102, over under 8.5, overs -105, unders -115. Braves -1.5 plus 62, Marlins +1.5 -196. I'm gonna take the Braves -102. I don't know why they're an underdog. O's Rays. Trevor Rogers and Shane McClanahan. The Rays in first in the AL East with the Yankees kind of falling apart a little bit. Rays -142, O's +120, over under 7.5, overs even money, unders -122. O's +1.5 is -182. Rays -1.5 +150. Over. Trevor Rogers is not the same guy as he was last year. Reds Phillies. Nick Lodolo and Andrew Painter. Phillies over 500 now. They're -116 favorites. The Reds are -102, over under 10. Overs even money. Unders -122. Reds -1.5 +52. Phillies +1.5 -184. I'm taking the Phillies -116. Guardians Tigers. Fox Sports 1. Slade Ciccone and Framber Valdez. Tigers -154. Guardians +130. Over under 8. Overs -115. Unders -105. Guardians +1.5 is -62. Tigers -1.5 +134. I like the over at -115. 6:45 Mets Nationals. We'll see if the Mets carry that momentum. Christian Scott and Jake Irvin. Mets -126. Nats +108. Over under 10. Overs -115. Unders -105. Mets -1.5 +125. Nats +1.5 -150. I'm taking the Nats. It'd be very Mets of them to lose this game after their best win of the year yesterday against the Yankees. 7 o'clock, Blue Jays Yankees from the Bronx. Patrick Corbin and Ryan Weathers. Yanks -178. Jays +150. Over under 9. Overs -105. Unders -115. Jays +1.5 is -130. Yanks -1.5 +108. I'm going to lay it with the Yankees. I think this is a bounce back spot here after that crushing Mets loss. They should have won that game yesterday. So I'm going to lay the 1.5 at +108. Red Sox Royals. Sonny Gray and Seth Lugo. Red Sox -12, Royals -104, over under 9, overs -115, unders -105. Sox -1.5 +146, Royals +1.5 -178. Tough one. I'm gonna lay the -112 of Boston. 7:30 Astros Twins. Tatsuya Imai and Kendry Rojas. Twins -110, Astros -106, over under 9.5, overs even money, unders -122. Astros -1.5 +146, Twins +1.5 -176. I'm taking the Twins -110. That's a cheap price there. Brewers Cubs from Wrigley. Brandon Sproat and Shota Imanaga. Cubs minus 162. Brewers plus 136. Over under 10.5. Over is even money. Under is minus 122. Brewers plus 1.5 minus 142. Cubs minus 1.5 plus 118. Doing the same thing here I did with the Yankees. I'm going to lay it with the Cubs on the run line back at home. This feels like a bounce back spot for Chicago. $8:30 Rangers Rockies. Mackenzie Gore and Jose Quintana. Rangers minus 148. Rockies plus 126. Over under 9.5. Minus 110 each way. Rangers minus 1.5 plus 108. Rockies plus 1.5 minus 3. I like the over. 9:30 Angels hosting the A's. JT Ginn and Walbert Urena. A's minus 30. Angels plus 110. Over under 9. Overs minus 104. Unders minus 118. A's minus 1.5 plus 122. Angels plus 1.5 minus 146. I like the under. I think that's a little high with those two guys pitching. White Sox Mariners. Noah Schultz and Brian Wu. Mariners minus 166. White Sox plus 140. Over under 7.5. Over receiving money. Unders minus 122. White Sox plus 1.5 minus 162. Mariners minus 1.5 plus 134. Same strategy as the Mets. I think this is a letdown spot for the White Sox, so I'm going to lay the run line with the Mariners minus 1.5 at plus 134. Dodgers Padres. Yoshi Yamamoto and Michael King. Great pitching matchup. Dodgers minus 144. Padres plus 122. Over under 7.5. Overs minus 102. Unders minus 120. Dodgers minus 1.5 plus 116. Padres plus 1.5 minus 140. I'm going to take the Padres at home as a dog at plus 122. This feels kind of like a good spot to play them. And last but not least, Giants Diamondbacks. Robbie Ray and Zach Gallen. D-backs minus 136. Giants plus 116. Over under 9. Overs minus 115. Unders minus 105. Giants plus 1.5 minus 178. D-backs minus 1.5 plus 146. I'm going to go with under 9 at minus 105. Alright, so there you have it for baseball. Now we'll move on to the WNBA. We'll go over the results from the weekend. Look ahead to tonight, Friday. Aces over the Sun, 101.94. Mystics over the Fever, 104.102 in OT. Sparks over the Tempo, 99.95. And the Mercury over the Sky, 91.83. Yesterday, Aces over the Dream, 85.84. Fever over the Storm, 89.78. Sky over the Lakes, 86.79. Tempo over the Sparks, 106.96. 2 games tonight, 8 o'clock on Peacock and NBCSN. Mystics Wings from Dallas. The Wings are giving 4.5 totals, 171.5. I'm going to take the Mystics getting 4.5. I think that Shakira Austin and Kiki Irefin keep them in the game. And I think they probably win too. They are plus 158. And 10 o'clock, Sunfire from Portland. Fire minus 178. Sun plus 144. Over under 10. 173.5. Minus 10 each way. Sun plus 3.5. Minus 106. Fire minus 1.5. Minus 114. I'm going to lay with the Fire only because the Sun are winless. And I know Ania Shamaro will keep a minute. But I think the fans in Portland are going to be fired up for this new team. So I'm going to lay the 3.5. Led by Bridget Carlton for Portland. Okay, now move on to soccer. We'll go over the results of note from the weekend and look ahead to tonight, tomorrow. All right, Friday, EPL. Aston Villa over Liverpool, 4-2. Women's, KC over Houston, 3-0. BFC Boston, 1-1 draw. San Diego over Washington, 2-1. Gotham over Seattle, 2-0. The Pro League, Damac over Alfaya, 3-0. Alto and El Rido, 1-1 draw. USL Cup, New York over Westchester, 3-2. Charlotte, Pittsburgh, 1-1 draw. Charlotte advances 4-2 on penalties. Saturday, English FA Cup, Man City over Chelsea, 1-0. Bundesliga, Mainz over Heidenheim, 2-0. Union Berlin over FC Augsburg, 4-0. Leverkusen Hamburg, 1-1 draw. Munich over Cologne, 5-1. Mönchengladbach over Hoffenheim, 4-0. Frankfurt Stuttgart, 2-2 draw. SC Freiburg over RB Leipzig 4-1. VfL Wolfsburg over St. Pauli 3-1. And Borussia Dortmund over Werder Bremen 2-0. MLS. Chicago over Montreal 2-0. Charlotte over Toronto 3-1. DC St. Louis 1-1 draw. New England over Minnesota 2-1. Orlando Atlanta 1-1 draw. Philly Columbus 1-1 draw. Red Bulls NYCFC 1-1 draw. KC over Austin 2-1. Houston over Vancouver 1-0. Galaxy over Seattle 2-0. Salt Lake over Colorado 2-1. San Diego FC Cincy 3-3 draw. FC Dallas over San Jose 3-2. The Women's League, North Carolina over Chicago 4-0, and Denver over Orlando 3-1. Liga MX, Cruz Azul over Guadalajara 2-1. Cruz Azul advances 4-3 on aggregate. Women's Super League, Tottenham over Brighton Hove 2-1. Chelsea over Man United 1-0. Everton over Leicester City 1-0. Arsenal over Liverpool 3-1. London City over Aston Villa 2-1. And Man City over West Ham 4-1. The Pro League, Al Hilal over Neom SC 2-0. Al Ahly over Al Khalij 3-1. Al Ali over Al Khalod 3-0. Friendly, Ireland over Granada 5-0. Premiership, Celtic over Hearts 3-1. Rangers over Falkirk 5-2. And Motherwell over Hibernian 1-0. And then Sunday, Premier League. Man United over Nottingham 3-2. Brentford Crystal Palace 2-2 draw. Sunderland over Everton 3-1. Leeds over Brighton Hove 1-0. Wolverhampton Fulham 1-1 draw. Newcastle over West Ham 3-1. La Liga. Athletic Club Celta Vigo 1-1 draw. Atletico Madrid over Girona 1-0. Elche over Getafe 1-0. Levante over Mallorca 2-0. Espanyol over Osasuna 2-1. Rayo Vallecano over Villarreal 2-0. Alaves over Real Oviedo 1-0. Valencia over Real Sociedad 4-3. Real Madrid over Sevilla 1-0. Barcelona over Real Betis 3-1. MLS. Miami over Portland 2-0. Nashville over LAFC 3-2. Women's. Angel City Portland 0-0 draw. Utah over Louisville 2-1. Liga MX. UNAM over Pachuca 1-0. UNAM advances for being the higher seed. Serie A. AS Roma over Lazio 2-0. Como over Parma 1-0. AC Milan over Genoa 2-1. Fiorentina over Juventus 2-0. Napoli over Pisa 3-0. Inter Verona 1-1 draw. Bologna over Atalanta 1-0. Cagliari over Torino 2-1. Lecce over Sassuolo 3-2. And Cremonese over Udinese 1-0. French League 1. Nantes Toulouse 0-0 draw. Brest Angers 1-1 draw. Ajax over Lille 2-0. Lavracie over Lorient 2-0. Lens over Lyon 4-0. Marseille over Stade Rennes 3-1. Nice Metz 0-0 draw. Paris FC over PSG 2-1. And Strasbourg over AS Monaco 5-4. Dutch Eredivisie. AZ Alkmaar NEC Breda 3-3 draw. FC Utrecht over Fortuna 2-0. Telstar over FC Volendam 2-0. Heerenveen Ajax 0-0 draw. FC Groningen over Heracles 2-1. NEC Nijmegen over Go Ahead Eagles 2-1. Feyenoord over PC Zwolle 2-0. PSV Eindhoven FC 20 5-1. Excalibur over Sparta 3-2. The Pro League, Al Shabab over Al Ittihad 3-2. Premiership, Dundee over Aberdeen 3-2. Kilmarnock over Livingston 4-1. St. Mirren Dundee 1-1 draw. USL Cup, FC Naples Sporting Jacks 1-1 draw. FC Naples wins 3-1 on penalties. Louisville City over Union Omaha 5-1. And Spokane over Vegas 1-0. Alright, today, EPL, Arsenal over Burnley 1-0. That was the only game today of note. And then tomorrow we have 2 EPL, 2:30, AFC Bournemouth and Man City. Man City minus 155, Bournemouth plus 360, draw plus 350. I'm going to go with over 3.5 goals plus 110 and 315 Chelsea Tottenham. Chelsea minus 110, Tottenham plus 290, draw plus 270. I'm going to Chelsea minus 110. And all the other soccer games of note are at night tomorrow, so we'll pick them on the show. All right, the PGA Championship. The story here is that we have a first in terms of a winner. First major first Englishman to win the PGA Championship since 1919. And that, my friends, is Mr. Aaron Ray. Tied for second with 6 under. John Rahm and Alex Smalley. And by the way, Ray, 9 under, earning over $3.6 million. Tied for fourth with 5 under, Justin Thomas, Matthias Schmid, Ludwig Aberg. Tied for seventh with 4 under, Cam Smith, Xander Schauffele, Rory McIlroy. Tied for 10th with 3 under, Kurt Katayama, Justin Rose, Chris Goddard, Patrick Reed. Tied for fourth with 2 under, Matt Fitzpatrick, Scotty Scheffler, Ben Griffin, Max Kreisterman. Tied for 18th with 1 under, Jordan Smith, Padraig Harrington, Stefan Yeager, David Puig, Harry English, Joaquin Neiman, Minwoo Lee. And at even with tied for 26, Alex Noren, Tom Hogue, Daniel Hillier, Andrew Novak, Cam Young, Sam Burns, Bud Cauley, Hideki Matsuyama, and Nick Taylor. So I just like to do the top of the leaderboard now. I don't feel like doing the whole thing. So there you have it for golf. NASCAR from the weekend, they had the Cup had the All-Star race in Dover, and everybody else was in Dover. So winning the All-Star race yesterday in the Cup Series, Denny Hamlin. Second, Chase Briscoe. Third, Eric Jones. Fourth, Austin Dillon. Fifth, Connor Zilch. Sixth, Austin Cindric. Seventh, William Byron. Eighth, Michael McDowell. Ninth, Alex Bowman. 10th, Brad Keselowski. The rest, Noah Gragson, AJ Allmendinger, Ryan Blaney, Carson Osvar, Ty Dillon, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Kyle Busch, Josh Berry, Shane Van Gisbergen, Bubba Wallace, Daniel Suarez, Tyler Reddick, Chris Bell, Ty Gibbs, Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, Cody Ware, Zane Smith, Riley Herbst, Ross Chastain, John Hunter Nemechek, Chris Buescher, Chase Elliott, Todd Gilliland, Ryan Preece, and Cole Custer. The No-App Series, that was Saturday from Dover. Your winner, Corey Day. Second, Justin Allgaier. Third, Sam Meyer. Fourth, William Sawalich. Fifth, Austin Hill. That was my pick. Sixth, Brandon Jones. Seventh, Carson Cavapel. Eighth, Ryan Sieg. Ninth, Sammy Smith. 10th, Anthony Alfredo. The rest, Brendan Poole, Austin Green, Ross Chastain, Raja Caruth, Jeremy Clements, Harrison Burton, Kyle Sieg, Sheldon Creed, Andrew Patterson, Dean Thompson, Patrick Sturpoli, Brent Cruz, Jesse Love, Myatt Snyder, Ryan Ellis, Blake Lothian, Josh Bilicki, Dawson Cram, BJ McLeod, CJ McLaughlin, Garrett Smithley, Taylor Gray, David Starr, Blaine Perkins, Logan Bearden, LaVar Scott, Jeb Burton, and Parker Retzlaff. In the Truck Series from Friday evening, your winner was Kyle Busch. Coming in second was Ty Majeski. Third, Lane Riggs. Fourth, Caden Honeycutt. Fifth, Chris Bell. Sixth, Brandon Jones. Seventh, Christian X. Eighth, Corey LaJoie. Ninth, Jake Garcia. 10th, Justin Haley. The rest, Stuart Friesen, Chandler Smith, Brendan Queen, William Sawalich, Grant Effinger, Tanner Gray, Chris Wright, Ross Chastain, Ben Rhodes, Gio Ruggiero, Parker Eatman, Spencer Boyd, Dawson Sutton, Frankie Muniz, Tyler Ankrum, Mini Tyrell, Andres Perez de Lara, Clint Boyer, Daniel Hemrick, Carson Osvar, Luke Baldwin, Chris Butcher, or Cole Butcher, Natalie Decker, Caleb Costner, and Dynasty Spurlock. So there you have it for NASCAR. Now move on to On This Day from the weekend. We'll do Saturday, Sunday today. So Saturday, May 16th, 2023, the 76ers fire Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers was not the coach there long. I feel like he was only there for like 2 years. But then again, he wasn't at the Bucks long either. 2019, the Bruins advanced to the Stanley Cup Final. When they took on the Blues. They lost to the Blues in 7. 2023, the Spurs win the NBA draft lottery and the rights to the best player in the NBA, Victor Wembanyama. 2018, the Bucks hire Mike Budenholzer. 2017, the Celtics win the NBA draft lottery, and that was when they traded down because they knew they could get Tatum at 3 because everybody loved Markelle Fultz so much. 2025, Brock Purdy signs mega extension. 2022, Golden Knights fire Peter DeBoer. 2025, Knicks advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals when they beat the Celtics. 2019, Patrick Peterson suspended 6 games. 2015, Miguel Cabrera hits 400th home run. 2022, Packers extend Jair Alexander. 2014, Penguins fire GM Ray Shero. Didn't he pass away? Yeah, Ray Shero died on April 9th of 2025. All right, and then yesterday, May 17th, 2024, Scottie Scheffler arrested on his way to the PGA Championship. 2013, Bobcats began process of name change to Hornets. I remember that. 2016, the Braves fired Freddie Gonzalez. And then they hired Snicker. 2025, Orioles fire Brandon Hyde, so he's been gone a year already. 2024, the Maple Leafs hired Craig Berube, and then he was just fired this year. 2016, Braves named Brian Snicker interim manager. That's who took over for Freddie Gonzalez, and he was there a long time. 2015, Rockets advanced to the Western Conference Finals as they took on Golden State. That was when they came back from 3-1 down in the series against, ironically enough, Doc Rivers and the Clippers. 2016 76ers win NBA draft lottery. That was the Ben Simmons draft. 2015 Marlins fire Mike Redmond. 2019 Tyreek Evans banned from the NBA for life. 2022 Magic win the NBA draft lottery. That was Paolo Banchero. And 2024 the Panthers advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals. They took on the Rangers. And on this day in May 18th, 2025, Scottie Scheffler wins the PGA Championship. He didn't win it the year he got arrested. I don't think he did. Why do I feel like Brooks won it that year? It was Xander. That's right. It came down between Xander and Bryson 2 years ago, the year that Scottie got arrested. But why do I feel like Scottie performed really good? Yeah, he was 13 under. He was 8 back. In the last round, he shot 6 under. So, 2025, yeah, Scottie won the PGA. 2016, Knicks hired Jeff Hornacek. He only lasted 2 years. 2021, Spencer Turnbull throws a no-hitter for the Tigers. 2015, Oilers hired Todd McClellan. Also in 2015, the Dolphins extend Ryan Tannehill. 2017, Freddie Freeman fractures his wrist. 2024, Mavericks advanced to the Western Conference Finals. They took on they beat the Thunder in round 2. And in round 3, they played Minnesota. Because I saw a stat that Karl Anthony Towns has been in the conference finals 3 years in a row, so that would make sense. Yeah. Minnesota against Dallas won in 5 over Minnesota. 2015, the Flyers hired Dave Haxtell. 2017, Mohamed Bamba commits to Texas. 2021, Mike Trout out 6 to 8 weeks. 2025, Thunder advanced to the Western Conference Finals. That was last year. They took on Minnesota. In 2025, the Panthers advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals. They took on the Carolina Hurricanes. So there you have it for on this day. Now we'll do the news and notes from the weekend. OG Anunoby probable for Game 1 tomorrow night against the Cavs. That's great news for the Knicks. The best thing that could have happened to them was sweeping Philly. That gave OG the proper rest. and he'll be refreshed and ready to go, and they can't afford for him to get hurt in this series. Um, 4 teams linked to LeBron James. Among them is the Los Angeles Clippers, despite facing challenges in pursuit. Talk about something that could be rushed. Garrett Cole could return this week for the Yankees, as he could skip his final rehab start and join the team. I think that would be out of desperation because Max Fried's hurt and the team did not perform, or the bullpen didn't perform against the Mets, really. And Rodon hasn't really been himself yet. He's still coming in a little bit. But I feel like this is rushed because of the team not performing well and Max Fried being hurt. That's just my opinion. Would that be a nice boost? Jose Altuve on the injured list with grade 2 left oblique strain. That's brutal for him. That team's going to have to blow it up. Blake Snell have surgery as he's to have procedure on Tuesday to remove loose bodies and elbow. Neymar makes the Brazil squad, so that's good news for Brazil. The Pelicans are hiring Jamal Mosley, 5-year deal. So, interesting hire. Mosley did a good job for the most part in Orlando, but I don't think he's a championship caliber coach. I mean, the Pelicans are not a championship caliber team. They just are trying to make the playoffs, finally, for the first time in a long time. So, that's why I get hiring Mosley, somebody with experience, and took a team to step one. But short term, I don't hate this hire. We talked about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander winning the MVP, back-to-back MVPs. McGregor Holloway set for July 11th. Ronda Rousey wins in 15 seconds by submission, a historic main event for first MMA win since 2015. The Steelers re-signed Aaron Rodgers on a 1-year deal. Base salary between $22 and $23 million. Everybody got mad at Shams yesterday because he leaked the MVP out before it was announced. And Pat McAfee's show had Shams on and they allowed him to clear the air. More replacement candidates in Philly are executives from Atlanta, OKC, and Minnesota are linked. JB Bickerstaff not on the hot seat as their confidence in Bickerstaff hasn't wavered since, or despite second round playoff exit. And it shouldn't waver. That wouldn't be fair if they got rid of him after losing in the second round. I think if next year they don't make it far, then he's gone. I think he's a next year hot seat coach. Blazers list of head coaching candidates includes former coach Terry Stotts. I like that. They shouldn't have fired him in the first place. This person, the Pelicans, will face off in Europe as they'll face off in Paris and Manchester next season. That's cool. Executives are hyping Caleb Wilson's upside as several NBA officials could see him developing into the best player of the draft. He's 35 to 1 to go 1. He could go 1. Lotto rule changes has critics as many NBA executives believe new 3-2-1 format is overreaction to tanking. You can make a case of that. An NBA scout praises Cam Boozer and says his winning fiber and ceiling as better version of Al Horford may push him to number 1. The Cavaliers plan on retaining James Harden as he's likely returning to Cleveland on a multi-year deal. That would make sense. If the Cavs had lost last night, they would have felt the pressure to shop Mobley, Strus, or Allen if had they lost last night. Rich Paul disputes LeBron rumors as he comments on reported frustration with Lakers over a game ball. The 2027 lottery may be televised as they could broadcast draft drawing live next season. That would be sick. And Rodgers is expected at OTAs. And who's not at OTAs is Jacoby Brissett as he's looking for a new deal. Nashville likely to host Super Bowl 64 as owners expected to vote on staging 2030 game in the Music City. That'd be cool. Lamar Jackson may wait to resign as he could get better deal next offseason with quarterback market evolving. Urban Meyer loses his arbitration case against the NFL, against the Jaguars. So, that's not good for him. Jaylen Brown says, fuck Stephen A. Smith as he is back on the Twitch stream with a personal message to Stephen A. And Stephen A. says, be careful what you wish for. Paul Pierce says that LeBron should retire as he thinks it's unfair LeBron still gets critiqued like he's 25. He still gets critiqued because people think he's the greatest player of all time. And the Vikings are likely to host the 2028 NFL Draft. So that's big for that franchise. Giovanni Urshela retires from Major League Baseball. Played 10 seasons in the majors, so he had a nice career. He had some moments with the Yankees. Pete Crow Armstrong apologizes for remarks as he regrets poor word choice in exchange with the White Sox fan. That's not cool. Cole Emerson's getting called up from AAA to the Mariners. That's good. Sherman Lewis passes away at the age of 83. He won 4 Super Bowls as coach of 49ers and the Packers. So thoughts and prayers go out to his family, friends, and his former players. So there's a set of twins, Liam and Marcus Ruck, that are rising up NHL draft boards as they're looking like first-round locks after breakout WHL seasons. The Dodgers are acquiring Eric Lauer from the Jays. We talked about Jalen Williams playing in the Western Conference Final. So that's it for the news and notes. Best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. There's a lot of them I like in baseball. And I am choosing to go with there's a lot of good ones. I'm going to go with over 7.5 and actually, I don't know about that. McClanahan's good. Guardians Tigers over 8 I'm going to go with. I mean, do I feel strong about it? No. But I like it. So I'm going to go over 8 in Guardians Tigers. I mean, that's because I like so many of these. I just was so undecided with the pick. So there you have it for the show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything and look at everything tomorrow as well. Oh, the series scores are out. Thunder in 6 is plus 470. The favorite outcome is Thunder in 5 at 3-1. Then Thunder in 7 plus 370. Then Thunder in 6 at plus 470. Then Thunder sweep and Spurs in 6 are each plus 550. Spurs in 7 is plus 850. Spurs in 5 is 15-1. Spurs sweep is 22-1. So OKC 4-2 plus 470. Favorite outcome in Cleveland Knicks is Knicks in 5 at plus 310, which is ridiculous. Then Knicks in 7 at plus 370. Knicks in 6 is plus 470. That's my pick. Cavs in 6 is 5-1. Knicks sweep is plus 550. Cavs in 7 is 8-1. Cavs in 5 is 14-1. Cavs sweep is 22-1. So now I can call the podcast done. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.